The man wants to be seen, the soul wants to be known, and the star just keeps shining somewhere above him, far enough to worship, close enough to haunt him. Every human being is born beneath a star, not always in the sky. Sometimes the star is a dream, a calling, a hunger, a vision of who you could become if you stopped betraying yourself. And at first it feels holy. A child looks at the world and thinks anything is possible. He sees the sky and does not question whether he is allowed to reach it. He just reaches. That is the purity of the beginning, before shame, before comparison, before failure teaches him to lower his eyes, before the world tells him to be realistic. Because somewhere along the way, the man forgets the star was never supposed to be proof of his worth. It was supposed to be a direction, but the world corrupts everything beautiful. So the dream becomes a scoreboard, the calling becomes a competition, the star becomes something he must possess instead of something he must follow. And slowly the man begins to trade his soul for distance, one sacrifice at a time. A little honesty here, a little peace there, a little kindness, a little sleep, a little wonder, until one day he has climbed higher than he ever imagined, but he cannot remember why he started climbing. That is one of the quietest tragedies in life, to become successful and still feel empty, to be admired but not understood, to have people know your name while you no longer recognize your own reflection. Because the man can build a kingdom and still be homeless inside himself. He can win the applause of strangers and still be unable to sit alone in silence. He can chase the star for years only to realize the light he wanted was never above him. It was within him. But nobody teaches men that. Nobody teaches people that ambition without soul turns into hunger without end. You keep chasing more money, more status, more attention, more proof. And every time you get what you thought would save you, the emptiness returns wearing a different face. That is the curse of the unexamined life. You think you want the star, but sometimes you only want the star because you do not know how to sit with the darkness. So you run upward. You call it purpose. You call it discipline. You call it greatness. But sometimes it is just fear wearing armor. Fear of being ordinary. Fear of being forgotten. Fear that without achievement there is nothing inside you worth loving. And that fear can build empires, but it cannot build peace. The soul knows this. The soul is not impressed by noise. The soul does not care how many people clap. It does not care what car you drive, what title you hold, how powerful you look from the outside. The soul asks quieter questions. Are you at peace when no one is watching? Are you becoming more alive or just more decorated? Are you chasing your destiny or running from yourself? That is why the soul terrifies the man, because the soul cannot be lied to. You can fool the crowd, you can fool your friends, you can fool the mirror for a while, but somewhere deep inside there is a witness, something ancient, something silent, something that remembers who you were before the world taught you who to pretend to be. And every now and then you hear it, usually at night, usually when the room gets quiet and the mask has nowhere left to perform. It whispers, "This is not enough." Not because you are ungrateful, but because some part of you knows you were not created merely to collect trophies. You were not born just to survive, consume, compete, and disappear. There is something deeper asking to be lived through you. But the man does not always listen. The man is busy chasing, busy proving, busy becoming impressive, and the star keeps moving. That is the strange thing about stars. You can use them to navigate, but you can never hold them in your hands. Maybe that is the lesson. Maybe the star was never meant to be owned. Maybe your dream is not supposed to become your master. Maybe it is supposed to lead you back to yourself. But we misunderstand destiny. We think destiny is a place, a final arrival, a mountain peak where everything suddenly makes sense. But what if destiny is not where you end up? What if destiny is what happens to your soul while you are walking? What if the real purpose of the star is not to give the man glory, but to reveal what he is willing to lose for it? Because every dream tests you, not just your work ethic, your character. Will you become cruel to win? Will you abandon love to look powerful? Will you silence your conscience because the crowd rewards confidence more than truth? Will you become the kind of person your younger self would have feared? That is the danger of ambition. It can make a man rise, but it can also make him hollow. And the world may celebrate the hollow man as long as he shines, but the soul mourns him quietly, because the soul knows the difference between light and reflection. Some people do not shine. They only reflect what the world told them was valuable. They become mirrors of culture, mirrors of applause, mirrors of desire. But deep down, they are starving for something real. That is why a man must ask himself, what star am I following? Is it mine, or was it handed to me? Am I chasing this because it is true, or because I want to be envied? That question can save a life, because there are people who spend decades climbing ladders, only to discover the ladder was leaning against someone else's dream. They became impressive, but not fulfilled. They became successful, but not free. And freedom is different. Freedom is not doing whatever you want. Sometimes freedom is wanting the right things. Freedom is no longer being controlled by the need to prove you matter. Freedom is becoming so rooted in your soul that applause can no longer seduce you, and failure can no longer destroy you. That is rare. Most people never reach that. Most people are dragged through life by invisible hungers they never question. They call it ambition, but it is really a wound asking for a crown. And maybe every man has to face that moment. The moment he stands between the star and the soul. The star says, become great. The soul says, become whole. And the tragedy is, we are taught to choose greatness before we even understand wholeness. But what is greatness if it costs you the ability to love? What is success if you cannot rest? What is power if you are still terrified of being unseen? What is becoming the man if you lose the soul? Maybe the true path is not to kill ambition. Maybe the star is not evil. The dream is not the enemy. The desire to rise is not wrong. A man should rise. A human being should reach. There is something sacred about refusing to waste the life you were given. But the soul must lead, not the wound, not the ego, not the hunger for validation, the soul. Because when the soul leads ambition, the man becomes a light. But when the ego leads ambition, the man becomes a fire that burns everything close to him. And this is where life becomes difficult, because the world rewards fire faster than light. Fire is louder. Fire gets attention. Fire looks powerful. But light is patient. Light does not beg to be seen. It simply reveals. And maybe that is what the star really represents. Not fame, not status, not conquest, but the highest version of you, calling from somewhere you have not reached yet. The version that is disciplined, but not empty, powerful, but not cruel, ambitious, but not enslaved, alone when necessary, but not closed to love. That version exists, and every choice either brings you closer to him or buries him deeper. That is the weight of being alive. You are always becoming something, even when you do nothing, even when you avoid, even when you wait, you are still becoming. The question is, are you becoming by accident or by devotion? Because life will shape you either way. Pain will shape you. Love will shape you. Loss will shape you. Time will shape you. But if you do not choose your star carefully, you may wake up one day shaped into someone you never meant to become. And then what? What does a man do when he realizes he has been chasing the wrong light? He returns, not backward, inward. He returns to the soul, to silence, to truth, to the small voice beneath all the noise that has been waiting patiently for him to stop performing. And maybe that is maturity, not becoming less ambitious, but becoming more honest about why you want what you want. Do you want the star because it calls you, or because you hope it will finally make you feel enough? Because if you chase the star from emptiness, even heaven will not satisfy you. But if you chase it from the soul, even the struggle becomes meaningful. That is the difference. The same mountain can be climbed by two different men. One climbs to be worshipped. The other climbs because something within him must answer the call. One reaches the top and feels alone. The other reaches the top and feels grateful. The outside may look the same, but the soul knows. The soul always knows. So maybe the question is not, will you reach the star? Maybe the question is, what will be left of you when you do? Will you still be kind? Will you still be human? Will you still know how to love without turning everything into possession? Will you still be able to look at the sky with wonder instead of calculation? Will you still have a soul? Because at the end of life, the star will fade, the body will weaken, the applause will disappear, the world will move on with terrifying ease, and all the things we thought made us immortal will become dust in someone else's memory. But the soul carries the truth of how we lived, not what we owned, not how loudly we were praised, but whether we became what we were meant to become, without abandoning what made us human. That is the final test. The man must rise, the star must guide, but the soul must remain. Because a man without a star becomes lost, but a man without a soul becomes nothing. So look up, Find the thing that calls you. Follow it. Bleed for it if you must. Climb, build, become. But do not forget to return inward. Do not become so obsessed with the heavens that you lose the sacred thing breathing inside your chest. Because maybe the greatest life is not the one where the man reaches the star. Maybe it is the one where the journey toward the star finally teaches the man the value of his soul.